Welcome to the Running with James podcast. We are committed to helping runners, OCR athletes, and the everyday person get involved, get connected, and get committed to becoming the best versions of themselves. Remember, when you change your mind, you change your life. Now here's your host, James Wyatt.
And welcome back to another edition of Running with James. Guys, if you are listening to us right now on any platform, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for joining as well. And if you're in the room right now, Lauren, thank you for joining as well. It's always a privilege and an honor.
That felt so sarcastic.
It did?
Yes, it does.
I didn't mean, did it sound sarcastic to you?
No one else
I
knows
thought
what
it was
happened
sincere.
before this. No, before everything before this.
What happened before this?
I got yelled at for so many things.
You didn't get yelled at for anything.
I'm not allowed to be comfortable in my chair.
No.
I'm not allowed to sit the way I want to sit.
Okay. Whatever, dude. We're trying to create
I'm afraid to open my drink.
a high level, and I feel like we've had this conversation before, the standard setting at high. And in my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but you're going to do a job interview. All right. Well, first of all, we want to welcome Jessica.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Jessica, for being here. We're so excited that you're joining us. And since you're here, I'm going to ask you this question because you do interviews.
I do.
Right?
Many.
You manage folks.
I do.
In fact, she was telling us just before that she
We'll be doing more interviews
has
coming
to
up
do another
shortly.
one because she lost somebody, right? So someone walks in, say you're going to have a little conversation with them.
Yep.
Right? Young lady.
Right?
We'll say she's attractive. Well put
Subjectively,
together.
apparently.
Well put together.
Right.
She walks in, you start talking to her.
And she
Don't
throws.
knock my drink over.
She throws that leg right over the edge.
Right.
What are you thinking?
You know, honestly,
comfortable.
she'd definitely be comfortable in that scenario. It would be probably
I don't even have
difficult
the same hardware as you. It's a little different.
to move forward with the interview.
It would be.
I would never do that in an interview. One, I already got the job.
So just so you know, okay, if we weren't videoing it, it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is our first video in a while, so it hasn't mattered.
But she hasn't sat like that the entire time.
Yeah, I do. I normally sit
No,
like that.
you have been sitting with you'll have your foot up there sometimes, but you haven't put your foot over the edge since we haven't been videoing.
Very
Okay.
relaxed.
So I'm almost wondering if she's doing it
Maybe it's part of her
because
persona.
she's thinking hey, there may be guys watching. I just gotta
That's not.
give them a little.
little of
What's her
this,
name?
a little bit of this.
What's her name? Basic Instinct. That was the movie.
Oh,
have you seen the
Sharon
movie?
Stone.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was it. Little Sharon Stone
action.
Yes.
So I am not hot enough to be pulling Sharon Stone action.
Anyway, guys, we're glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us today. And if you'd like to follow Lauren and all of her antics, you can subscribe to the channel at any point in time. Hit that share button, thumbs up, and give us some love. So, Jessica, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I've got a big event coming up,
She
so
does.
I'm getting ready. I'm getting geared up.
Yep. Actually, we had you and a couple other ladies.
Yes.
Last year after the Houston Marathon, right?
Yes, that
And
was awesome.
you qualified for Boston there.
Right.
Right. Got a big PR. It was wonderful. So she has done a few things since then,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I finally convinced her
I succumbed to peer pressure.
to do the HYROX in Houston. She did mixed doubles for the first time. Crushed it, by the way. We'll talk about that.
Really crushed it.
Thank
So a runner through and through that is now a hybrid athlete is what they're calling it. Right.
Yeah.
We just call it athlete.
You're just an athlete.
Yeah.
Just an athlete.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be neat to have her come on, talk about it. She'll be running Boston in just a couple of days, the Boston Marathon. And she's a friend of the show. And now, since you've been on twice, technically a
You're a
guest
veteran.
host.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize I was going to be elevated in status, but
Oh,
that's
yeah,
really
we
great.
elevate everybody. That's
yeah,
what we're all about.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So tell us, first of all, how are you feeling? Because it's the most recent thing, this thing coming up. How are you feeling about Monday?
I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous. So this is my second time running Boston, and the first time was humbling.
Yeah.
I've kind of joked with you. I feel like I became a cautionary tale. So I got really, really excited about Boston last year, and the energy is phenomenal. The buildup is there, just everything from even the training and telling people you're going to run Boston, and everyone knows it's so iconic. And then you get there, and it is totally lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
And race day came, and I went out like my tail was on fire. Like I went out hot, and held it for a while, and then the second half of the race, I paid for it.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Has that ever happened? I don't know if, since I've been your coach, I don't know if I've ever seen you have a race like that before.
Never.
Where the race was like, beat you.
Never to that extent. Never
No.
to that extent. I have gone out. It is a telltale sign of mine. I like to go out a little bit too fast. Generally, I can cash the checks that I've written. Like,
Yeah.
normally to a decent degree. I've been humbled a couple times. That is probably the worst and the longest duration of humbling I've ever had to endure. So, so I'm like, I have this weird feeling going into Monday where I feel like calmed by the fact that I've been there and I've seen the course and I know it now. So there's like this predictability, and like anytime you go out and do the course the second time, it's great. But I also know how hard it is,
Right. Yes.
to an extent that I didn't know last time.
Right.
So I know that I got to be prepared for that. I think I'm a lot stronger than I was last year, but
Most
also
definitely.
those hills are rough.
Yeah.
I would definitely. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, I definitely would say you're way stronger
Yeah.
than last year. I mean, your training has definitely altered a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been
year.
bulking up in the off season.
I have been bulking up in the off season. I've been pushing sleds.
Balls.
Yep, been doing some wall balls. You know, not quite as many as my training partner, but been doing some wall balls. And so I definitely feel like that strength is going to help me. But coming from like a flat training environment to go out and do those hills, working with James, we did some different training this time, and I did a lot of my kind of more solid strength and speed workouts on a treadmill. So I was using some of the incline and trying to work through that, but you just never know until you get out there and you start hitting those Newton hills.
Yeah. I think it's funny because I think last year, when we were kind of getting ready because Boston for you last year was like, it's going to be fun.
Yes.
Let's experience it.
Yep.
Let's do whatever. But I think from like over the couple training blocks, like this level of confidence hit you.
Yeah.
And you were like,
I got this.
I've got to take advantage of this.
Yes.
Because, you don't run a marathon every day.
Right.
So I need to go out here and show Boston Marathon who is the sub-elite.
Yeah. I think I always have that feeling, and I felt this way after the HYROX in Houston too. It's like this time is fleeting.
Yeah.
Like I have this fitness now and I have to use it now.
Right.
That's how I felt with Boston last year. And that's what I kind of tend to fall into this trap where it's like, I am at my peak game, which I should learn, like, that's not true. I think maybe that's been part of my like midlife crisis, is this idea that like my fitness is only going to go down from here, but it hasn't. Like, I think if I train smart and I keep adding volume and, we work on different training programs and adding that strength, like I can get stronger. I don't have to run this race like it's the last one I'm ever going to run.
No, I think you've got a lot to keep growing.
Yeah.
I got a lot to give.
Well, I understand why you feel that way, because you're like, you feel fitter than you've ever felt.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So you are technically at your peak.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're at where you've never been before. And so you're feeling super confident. And I think that's awesome. That's what you want to feel.
Right.
But then you also got to understand, like, every course is different.
Yeah.
Right. Specifically Boston. I mean, that's like, of all the majors, it's probably one of the hardest ones.
It's a tough course. I think the other thing that I didn't anticipate is it's also challenging because of the start time.
Yeah.
And that is particularly, I struggled with that because I do most of my training very early in the morning, and the start time for Boston is 10:25 for my wave. So it's late. And like, even trying to figure out how to fuel yourself properly for that, like, you really have to eat twice before you run. So trying to figure out how you do that, you've got this, drive out to the athletes' village before you go to the start. And so all of that, not having done that before, was, I think I made there was a lot of room for improvement that I'm going to try to do this year. So.
I mean, you still did pretty good. I mean, what did you run?
3:27.
Okay, so that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, most people would probably kill to run a 3:27 marathon, much less do it at Boston. Yeah. So, but you qualified again.
Yep.
Right? Running a...
So I actually used... So what was funny is I qualified for Boston last year with my 3:19 from Chevron in 2023.
Right.
Then I ran Chevron 2024 at 3:08.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the
PR.
time... Yeah. So that's the time that I used for this Boston.
Right. So,
Yeah.
so you qualified technically at a 3:08.
Yep.
Right. And so this one, obviously, you're going to be faster. You're stronger.
Yeah.
but maybe not try to go out and run a sub 3
Right.
yet.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Maybe
Not
Chicago.
yet. Yeah, maybe
We'll see.
Chicago.
If you're not, we'll see if that's insanity is ready. If you're ready for
Yeah.
that insanity. So,
Yeah.
But okay, so between last time you ran Boston and this time, a lot's changed.
Yep.
Right. Just in your training overall, and that's what I mean by change.
Yeah.
So like, kind of talk us and walk us through like what you feel like over the, because there's runners that listen, there's people who do HYROX that listen. We've got OCR athletes, we've got marathoners. So like, what do you feel like in the past year? Number one, do you feel like you've gotten to be? Do you feel like you've become a better runner? And then number two, what are some of the elements you feel like that have helped you do that?
I feel like I have become a better runner. I think that a couple of things. I added volume, which I always felt like, I mean, for years, I felt like this is the most I can do. Like I mean, obviously like a lot of people, I'm balancing a lot of things in my schedule. I'm balancing being a mom and working and, just life.
Right.
So I kind of felt like I got to a point at various parts of my training where I was like, this is the most I can really reasonably do. But I found that I can do a little bit more. We've worked on like how to schedule that in, like even sometimes breaking that into 2 sessions for the day,
Right.
Adding in the strength training in more manageable bites. So I found that I could add volume that I didn't think I could and still maintain what feels like a good balance for me. And that's really helped. And I think that aerobic base has helped me. It helped me in HYROX. It's helped me with some of my other goals that I wanted to achieve in terms of hitting a new PR in the half and the 10K.
Yeah, you smashed. I forgot about the half. You smashed that sucker too.
Smash that sucker.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
That was good. I forgot. We'll have to go back to that one too.
Yeah. No, I was so excited because I had that PR I had it for like the longest time, and then I finally broke it, and then I set a goal to break that again, and that was great. So, but I think the other piece was the actual strength, like we mentioned before. I think training for HYROX, some people had told me actually, like your running might suffer when you train for HYROX because it's a different. I mean, you are kind of training different energy systems from like a marathon, from that kind of like aerobic energy system, and it is kind of, once again, you're having to split your time. You're figuring out if I'm going to do a HYROX workout, maybe that's taking away from the run I would have done during that time. So, but I think actually the strength that I gained training for HYROX and running through those programs, adding even like the strength running workouts, like on an incline, doing the stuff that we've done in the gym. Like I'm finding at the end of my runs that I still feel like I've got more in my legs.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's a nice feeling as opposed to getting done with a, 16, 17, 19 mile long run and feeling like I need to get done with this. Yeah. I think my longest run for this Boston build was 19 miles, and I finished it, and I was like, my legs feel really good. Like I feel strong, like I'm on solid footing, and I could still keep going, and my form hasn't suffered. You don't get that like where you start to kind of collapse in on yourself when you get tired.
Right.
So, yeah, that definitely feel like a stronger runner.
Nice. So, who told you your running was going to suffer? What yahoo said that?
I am curious also. I wasn't
Don't mention the name. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because I know it wasn't me.
I didn't want you to throw anybody under the bus, but I also am curious. You're going to have to tell us off camera who told you that, because I want to know who it is.
Well, I think I understand a little bit to an extent. Is like a lot of runners have always the misnomer is if you want to be a good runner, you need to run.
Yes.
That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Okay. And anything you do that's not running is not only does it not accentuate it, but it could cause you to suffer as a runner, right? Especially, you know how women are when they lift weights, they bulk up.
We get huge.
Yes.
All women just,
you're so huge.
They
I
automatically
have bulked. Yes.
They get jacked.
Your britches are
Jacked
getting
and
a little snug.
Yes. When you join the Snug Britches Club, your running form will suffer.
Yes. That's the misnomer.
The misnomer.
Yes.
It's like the whole how you guys have talked about, this whole to slow down to go fast.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
it doesn't compute at first, but yeah, I had some folks say that, like, again, adding that muscle,
make you too heavy,
like that you do look at some of these elite runners, and many of them are very slight builds,
Yes.
Yeah. And so I can see where that comes from. But then, we've looked at other examples of HYROX athletes or people that are, stronger, have more muscle mass, that are also doing incredible things at longer distances. So, yeah.
So I mean, there is some science that goes with that, as far as like, you you might suffer a little bit. But I think it comes down to simply this strength to weight ratio. And so as long as you have the strength to manage the weight, then you're fine, right? It's not an issue. You know, I've had several people tell me that I'm too bulky, and I definitely would never think I'm a bulky guy. But if you didn't have all that muscle, you'd be faster. And I feel like I wouldn't be.
I don't want to find out, but I feel like I would not be.
So, I think I was telling somebody the other day, I think we were at the HYROX run group on Tuesday, and we were talking. And I was telling them that, I ran track and cross country in high school, and I was pretty good. I was all district, all state.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't all state. I made it to state.
Right.
So I wasn't all state. So
don't look for me in those.
Yes, don't look for that. Yes, I was not all state. I made it to state and did not make all state.
Do not fact check that.
Yes, please. But to do that, you got to be pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I was pretty fast, right? And I was telling them that I had, the fastest I had ever ran was like, I think 5:07 was the fastest mile I ran, and that was at the district meet, and it qualified me for state.
Okay.
And I think I came in third place, and we get to state, and I got lapped in the mile. And I was a sophomore at the time.
Yeah.
But I got lapped on the mile. It's only 4 laps.
Yeah.
How do you get lapped?
I don't know.
4 laps.
That is.
I'll tell you how. The dude was running a 4-minute mile. That's how.
That's so fast.
Right. That's very, very fast. Right.
Yep.
So I was like, man, I got to get faster because by my senior year, I got to be up there with that guy. Right? So I think I barely broke 5. I think I was like 4:57 or something one time. And I was telling him that I was 17 years old when I did that.
Yeah.
And I weighed like 140 pounds.
Right.
Okay. I weigh almost 90 pounds now.
Yeah.
And we did we did like a little time trial a couple years ago.
We did.
And we ran like a 5:20 or something like that, 5:25.
Yeah.
And that was me not even running as fast as I could because I wanted to try to
See
prove to somebody that they could do it.
Because I was signing up for a 6-minute pace.
Exactly. And I was like, what is wrong with you? So I was like, oh, well, let's just stay with me. Just stay with me. So I went out a nice cruisy little pace.
Yep.
So I was just telling him that, I ran a sub 5:20 at 45 years old and 185 pounds. So, if I went all out, what could I do? Or if I actually trained for a fast mile, could I maybe break 5? Probably.
I don't know. I think we should find out.
Yeah, I bet you do want to find out.
Still think that the fastest mile is something that we need to bring to the track.
Say, Jess is definitely on that. Let's do another time trial.
I think she's still she always looks back at those numbers from high school to see what she could have done.
Yeah.
And she would have had the record or something in her high school.
Oh, believe me, that's exactly what I do. I take those numbers and then I go back to Arrowhead High School in Heartland, Wisconsin, for those listening, and look to see where I would have placed because I did not think I was fast. I did not run track. I pole vaulted, not well. Also, don't look that up. And because I was like, oh, I just want to join. I want to have fun.
Yeah.
But to think that if I had tried, then that would have been a lot more fun to have been good at it. But oh well. I'm a late bloomer.
You're just reliving those glory days now.
I am a late bloomer for sure.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Right? So that's what I try to tell people all the time is like, maybe you won't be as fast or as good as you could have been, but you can still always be better than you've ever been.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Yep.
So as long as you keep training, you keep doing all the right things and progressing, like this, there's a lot of speed and a lot of possibility in, in your athleticism. So what do you feel like then? Okay. So you feel like you're a better runner. Okay. You probably weigh a little bit more than you did.
Yep.
A little bit, right?
Yep.
So it's not like you've doubled in size. Right?
Massive.
She's just freaking Hulkster.
Ham hocks.
Yeah, ham hocks. I forgot. What do you call lumbering ham hocks?
Lumbering ham hocks.
Lumbering ham
have
hocks.
Developed
Yes.
nicely.
Yes.
I have the photos
For
to prove them
for
all.
those unsure of what lumbering ham hocks would be, those are quads.
Yes, those are her humongous quads. So I think over really, I guess probably the last maybe 6 months. Has it been about 6 months, right? Because I convinced you sometime. I don't even think it was 6 months because I think it was somewhere around November. You
yeah,
finally
it was like
committed.
November.
Yeah, and we were going to do mixed doubles together.
Yep.
And so we started training, and I remember a lot of times, like whether it was from the wall balls, specifically the farmer carries, and this was my favorite. The farmer carries was you complaining a lot about how hard it was.
Yeah.
And this is just too much. It's just like I can't even think. I can't remember all the exact words, but it was
Because I complained enough that it's like it all meshes together.
Yes, exactly.
I could see that.
And like thinking back to the very first HYROX style competition you did.
Yep.
You remember that?
Oh, the one here?
Yeah.
The very
Yes.
first one.
So
The
tell
very
me,
first one?
So when you did that one, the Building Champions event, what were you thinking when you came in?
When I came into the first Building Champions event, so not this last year, but the very first one I did, I remember leaving and saying, I'm never doing that again. That is ridiculous, and this is dumb, and I'm going to injure myself. That is what that was kind of my takeaway, was like, like anything else, right? If I can't do it, this thing's dumb. Yeah. This thing's dumb, and I don't want to do it. I'm going to hurt myself. The other thing that sticks in my mind is trying to do the skier. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that day? I was trying to do the skier, and I was flapping my wings like I was going to take flight off that thing. I was doing it so wrong, and I was wasting so much energy, but I was like, I don't know, I guess this is how you do it. Just do it as fast as you can.
I'm going as fast as I can.
I'm going as fast as I can.
And going
like
nowhere.
a baby bird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there were a couple things there, but I did not do terribly well. I did actually pretty terrible.
What did you think when you got to the sled?
Oh, I pushed myself right out of my shoe, and I was doing one of those like almost comedic, like something you'd see a cartoon character do, where I was like pushing and like I was falling down as I was pushing it. Like the thing wasn't going anywhere, but my feet were going out from under me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is impossible. I'm never going to be able to push this thing. I'm thinking I'm putting all my weight into it, and all I'm doing is just like moving my feet backwards, and I've got my arms all the way outstretched and just like pushing with all my little might, but it wasn't going anywhere. So, yeah, I left pretty demoralized that day.
Yeah.
I was not happy.
Were you pretty confident when you like came to the event that day? Because you generally at that point you were relying a lot on your speed. You're like, I can smoke everybody on the run.
That's what I thought. I'm like, I'm just gonna run, and I did. Like, I mean, I also ran very fast.
You picked up the laps on everything.
Yeah, but it was not. It wasn't measured. I went out so hot. And then, like, after I got halfway through the event, which wasn't even that long of an event, we're talking like maybe a 15 to 20 minute event. And the second half, I was like, just gassed, So, came a long way from there.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
You may not even remember this, but we were using ladies' weights.
Yes.
Right? And I don't even know if it was like the full ladies' weights.
I don't think so.
And fast forward to when you did HYROX Houston.
Yep.
All men's weights.
Yep.
Right. And I'm pretty sure I was watching that. I've got video, and I'm pretty sure you were faster on the sled than your partner was. Like, now they may have been saving some energy for later on.
They may have just done an entire race by themselves.
And they may have done a race before them. But you were moving that sled so easily. Like, so fast.
Yeah.
Well, in the pictures and videos I saw from your burpees, you were just like a little sugar glider.
Yeah.
And then you get to the farmer carries, and this chick did the whole farmer carry.
I heard about that.
That's my glory moment.
And here's the best part.
You complained so much before.
You were faster. I think you were a minute 21 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a minute 20. Yeah.
That was faster than any other one of us has ever done it.
Yeah.
Like Tommy and I think when we did as a partner, the fastest we did was like 127, 128.
Yeah.
The fastest I've ever done by myself was like 130.
Yep.
You did 120.
I don't even know what came over me.
You were sprinting with 54-pound
the little
kettlebells on either hand.
I was. And it's funny because I looked back up when Ashley and I ran in Dallas. We switched off. I did run like the first part of it, and then we switched. But our time, even I think we did like 117 with ladies' weights.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but Tommy was like, I think his calf was cramping at that point, or he was feeling like it was going to start cramping. And I'm like, well, I'll get started, And then once I started going, I'm like, I think I can do more. And then I kept, then I saw Carlos like at the turn, and I turned, and then I was like, well, shoot, now I can see the end. Once you make that turn, and you're like, yeah. It was
and
pretty
I think
cool.
the thing that got me more than anything is because that was one of the things.
Yes, that I struggled with.
You thought you were struggling with, right? And that you were complaining about. But I knew.
I was struggling with it. I mean, the first time we even did it at the track, the first time we did it in the workout, I had like bruised up the sides of both of my quads because I was not carrying them efficiently. And
yeah, but I feel like even when you think you're struggling, like, because I always kind of see y'all when y'all were at the track training, you always, to me, look really strong on the farmer carries. So even if you think you look like you're suffering, to me, you look like you're doing great. And you just like cool as a cucumber with like barely sweat on your body.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's not how I'm feeling on the inside.
Pro tip, just so you know, coach's tip. We were doing so much volume.
Yes.
Right? The goal was to do large amounts of volume. So then when we got to the race, it didn't seem challenging at all, right? So we put ourselves into a position that was very challenging in that one workout so that you would hate it.
Yeah.
It would feel hard.
Yeah.
But it should have built your confidence, not like
Mission accomplished.
Right, so
No, I think that works out well for me, actually. I like to have my confidence totally crushed in the workouts, and then like you get to the race day and you're like, oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some athletes where, there's some people where you're constantly trying to like encourage them and, hey, you can do this, you've got this, and they're constantly questioning themselves. And then there's some people where you have to crush them because like nothing that you give them like breaks them. They're like, oh yeah, no big deal. My heart was, 135.
Yep.
Or it was good. It was a challenging exercise. It was challenging, but no big deal. And you're running like 5 seconds or 10 seconds a mile faster than you're supposed to.
Right.
Okay, obviously I've not broken this chick yet.
Yeah.
So,
but the next training block, I'm going to get her.
That's it. So in the back, so every time you send me a message and you're like, oh my God, that was so hard, or like this one almost broke me, I always want to respond with, got him.
Yep.
But I don't.
Nailed it. Like his favorite catchphrase.
I just give you like a little heart and say, like, good job. Good job.
Yeah, you're one of the few that gets the hearts. That's nice.
Everybody gets a heart when they do what they're supposed to do.
No,
Every single person gets a heart.
Do the workout.
You do the workout the right way, everyone gets a heart. I love giving hearts.
No.
The thing I'm scared to do is give a thumbs up now.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I told him that's very passive aggressive.
But it's not, actually.
I told him it was.
Maybe you need to try out some of the other ones, like an exclamation point.
Just throw something random. Throw a pineapple in there and see what they do.
No, I'm definitely not throwing a pineapple. My gosh.
A
Jeez
dolphin.
Louise.
I don't know.
No.
Just something.
That's why I like, so on the Instagram, they have like, you have your character
avatar.
or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they have one where he's wearing like a freaking narwhal or somewhere, an orca.
That's where he's
with
riding
thing
the
with
narwhal.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a narwhal. And I don't know what it's for, but I like using it.
I've never seen you use that one.
Yeah.
I have seen it and I have wondered why.
And
But
so
yes.
The one on BC on my Coach James one, right? I've got him wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
That is awesome because he's wearing a cowboy hat and he's like doing this. I love that one. And I don't even know what it means.
No.
It could mean something horrible, but I just will randomly put that one on when I don't know what to put.
Yeah.
I never use my avatar.
No, I don't
You
use my
love your
avatar either.
avatar.
Yeah.
Well, that's because people, they want to see that Coach James is actually approving what they're doing. So it's like a way of me being on there without me being on
We've
there.
all become so like dependent on that approval
yes,
from our coach.
yes. We're just waiting for likes.
What
We need
avatar am I
likes.
gonna get?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to know and compare. We compare the avatars we get.
I highly doubt that. I highly doubt
We should
that.
start.
That's that. Yeah, that would be
That'd be
trouble.
an interesting
That'd be trouble.
conversation.
Yeah. So, so you went and did HYROX for the first. So tell us about your HYROX experience. What did you feel about HYROX? Like overall, now you did it with your sister in Dallas, okay?
I did.
So I know this was a little bit different, but like kind of tell me since you started HYROX, what has changed? Has anything changed? Like what is your idea about it?
So a lot's changed since the first, BC event. I like it now, so that's great.
That has changed, right?
That has changed.
You haven't given up.
I was very, very resistant to starting HYROX. I think my biggest thing was I felt like I would get hurt.
Yeah.
That was what I was like, I have goals. I am working towards these running goals. And the last thing I need is to like roll an ankle or, pop a calf muscle or tear my Achilles. Like, I don't need this in my life. But you guys broke me down. And so it's been fun. I think what I love about it is I really have enjoyed the variation in the training. Like I like the switching it up a little bit where not every workout is a running or is kind of like this, one-dimensional exercise. I've enjoyed adding the strength in. I've enjoyed the way that makes me feel, like just feeling stronger overall. And the competition, like, I don't know, the doubles to me, like part of me is interested in seeing what I could do, in just a women's open. But it's so much fun to do it with a partner. Like, I just love that. I think running is such a, you do it in a group, but it is really a solo endeavor. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this a little bit, like in training. I think part of me has gotten used to that. Like, I like being responsible for myself. When I go out there on Monday, I'm going to race my best. And, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's on me. Sure. I felt like, with Ashley, it was like, hey, we're keeping each other accountable. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. So I didn't feel too overly stressed about that. But like when we signed up to do this thing in Houston, I was like, I have got to make sure that I'm hitting the workouts, like that I'm showing up and that I'm putting in my effort because I've got somebody else who's counting on me. Yeah. And we're trying to achieve a joint goal. Right. So that's a different feeling, but I do like it. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, ever since your second place finish in your first mixed doubles, by the way, with a really good time. Was you 102?
103.17.
Okay, so that's very respectable.
Yep.
Very fast. Tell me how you felt, because I was so excited. I didn't even know, and this is different than, I know I'm different than everybody else, okay? I'm looking at your performance, right? I'm looking at like how you looked out there, and you guys looked so strong. You looked so in sync. You never looked like you were out of it.
Yeah.
And then you finished with a 103, and I was like, y'all looked amazing. And then like several of the things that you were concerned with, I wasn't, you were concerned with, you flew through them and made them look fairly easy. So I was elated. I was like, you guys crushed it. And then you're in first place.
Oh my gosh, that feeling was so good.
Yeah. And then
it was gone.
Everybody was so excited, right? Everybody's high-fiving and hugging. And then an hour and a half later, wah, wah, wah.
Dashed.
30 seconds.
Dashed. Right? Yep, by 30 seconds.
30 seconds, yes. And if y'all had been in the same heat, that would have been really cool.
Yes, that would have been
cool.
cool.
Heat, I think that would have been a real race.
Yeah, because at the end you guys could have gone head to head, right? But like knowing that, like how did that make you feel afterwards? Because at first you were like, it's hard. You know, I do think there is this kind of, it's hard for me to separate myself from the podium. I think you've talked about that a little bit too. Like, it's that you could have a great race and not get the spot on the podium that you wanted. And I am trying to kind of like separate myself from that. I'm really proud of what we did that day. Like, I'm really proud of the training leading up to it. I had a great time with the training too. Like, that's the other thing I keep reminding myself, because obviously the goal was to go to World Championships. That would have been fantastic, but I had so much fun training for it. Like, it's hard to be upset by that. But I was elated. I kind of realized once we finished, and I think Carlos had said something like, "You guys are in first. You guys are in first." And in that moment, I was like, I guess I really hadn't thought that getting first was an option. Yeah.
Because I was so shocked in that moment that like we would be in first place. Yeah. So I think that was the first time I really, even though I knew that was a goal, that was what I was aiming for, that was the first time when we finished where I was like, oh my gosh, like we could really be in first place. Like we could really go to the World Championships.
Yeah.
And then we lost that. But it was, I mean, I'm really proud. I'm proud of the whole kind of body of work, like the whole training cycle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it probably didn't hurt either. That someone kept telling you world championships,
yeah,
just seeding it in your brain over and over again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was there somewhere.
Yeah. And then he let you down. He just left you hanging.
I was actually going to ask you, speaking of leaving you hanging,
yeah.
Were you, because you didn't find out that you were going to be racing with Tommy until like the night prior.
Yeah.
Was that like,
she knew it was a possibility.
Well, I knew
she knew in the back of her mind.
Talked about it, but were you still like shocked when you like found out? Because you didn't hear it from him, did you?
No, I heard it from Tommy first, though.
Oh, really?
And, yes. And
we were at lunch when she called you.
No, I called her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you didn't call me until the night.
Yeah.
You didn't call me.
I called you.
Yeah, but that wasn't lunchtime.
Yeah. No,
not
you called him at lunch, right? Because you were talking about it, right?
It was in the evening.
Oh.
It was in the evening.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, Tommy texted me and said, looks like we're racing tomorrow.
Well, I asked him first before.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make sure he was down to
that's a good idea.
Because if not, I was going to get Larry for you.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, also would have been cool.
Yeah.
Either one.
So I like to have my options.
Yeah, I know. I know how you are. I know how you like to roll.
You're such a pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that feeling, I did know it was a distinct possibility, but I was a little bit like, I mean, obviously so happy to have raced with Tommy. We had a fantastic time, and like, he really did a great job, like reining me in, like making sure that we kept to that pace and didn't fall into that trap of going out too fast. And like, we had a phenomenal time. But in that first moment when you called me and you were like, yeah, I'm not racing tomorrow. And I'm just like,
this freaking
I was crestfallen. I was like, I went out to the living room, and Ashley and my brother-in-law and my husband are all sitting there, and I'm just like just blank stare. Like, well, James isn't racing tomorrow. So there's that.
And they're probably all like, who's James?
But, yeah.
What?
Why?
Who cares?
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, it's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Tommy was a perfect fit because we train together. He's been training with you, still the same way, right? He's basically me, just more attractive and in better shape, right?
Tommy's like a very cool cucumber too. Like he's so cool under pressure.
Yeah. He took it like he was like, yeah, man, I guess I can do that. Yeah, I can do it. I think he was excited. I think
he's like the coolest guy in that way.
He is. And the other thing about Tommy that I will say too is Tommy has been there a couple times to like run me in for the marathon and stuff like that. Like Tommy is clutch and he shows up and he does he's got this kind of like calm, chill about him that I think in that environment when everything is so hype and there's so much energy around you, like to have that partner where you're just like, yeah, we're just going to do this like we did on the track a million times and go out there and quietly crush it, Yeah.
No, that's what I think. That's what's great about our team, right? Or about our group, right? And I call it a team because, it is a team. But like our group is that you've got all these different personalities, but we're all like working together for the same goal, ultimately to improve and get faster. But we're also like excited when like someone like you goes to Boston and you do well, So for such a long time, it's been really cool to see, everybody grow and get stronger and get faster.
Yep.
And for me, there comes a certain time, I feel like, as a coach where, or I'll use this as an example. If you ever watch, you probably didn't, maybe, I don't know, like Kung Fu movies, right? And in the Kung Fu movies, there would always be a master, and the master would be training the apprentice to be a Kung Fu, like aficionado. And as they're becoming a Kung Fu aficionado, at some point, there comes this point where like the master gets beaten by the apprentice. They get better or more, they develop their own Kung Fu. My Kung Fu is stronger than yours, right? And, ultimately, I like to lead by example. So for a long time, I've been kind of like, hey, this is how we do it, guys.
Right.
If I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. But it's so cool to have so many people coming in now that are faster than me or stronger than me or making me like feel less than, come in and like be amazing. And so for me, it hypes me up because I'm like, okay, now I can use them for me to even get better, right? So we're building one another up. And so that's what I love about the group is that you celebrate, me growing, but I can also celebrate you guys getting faster and stronger. And it's okay that I'm chasing y'all.
Yeah.
And y'all are all better than me. I'm not upset about it.
No.
Not even a little bit.
No,
I think intimidated.
I think it is good. I mean, and you put together an incredible group for Houston HYROX. I mean, just a lot of great people out there, a lot of strong performances, a lot of teams, a lot of individuals, like just a really great, I think BC represented in a huge way, and that was really exciting to see. And I think we're going to do it again next season,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I think it's going to be bigger and better next season.
Yeah,
of course.
For sure.
Of course. So we're going to keep growing, keep building people up. So, and eventually, we'll race.
World domination.
We'll race together.
I don't know if I believe that, but
We'll
yes,
race together. It'll happen.
I want to see it.
It'll happen. So
You got to make your way through everybody in the Alpha Squad. So you've already done Tommy, then you got to race with Larry, then you got to race with Carlos, and then you can race with James. You can pick your favorite.
So it's like if you go, like you got to go to the back of the line, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. See, I think I'm getting a bad rap because it makes it sound like the way people make it sound is like I'm not like committed to anybody, but I have actually been committed to someone, and they wanted to go on a break. Okay,
Yeah, Tommy.
I was dumped. Right?
You got dumped?
And so as part of that dumping, as the dumpee, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to work with other people, like working with Tommy, helping him get stronger and
Sowing
faster.
his fitness
I'm
oats.
going to work with other folks and help them too, right? So I'm going to kind of like take that apprentice-master relationship and take it to other personalities and other people, right? And so now I'm getting a bad rep because I'm just trying to help people.
I want to say what's really funny about that now that you put it in those words is that you were kind of broken up with by your partner, and then your partner came in and stole your girl.
I know.
and
Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't that ridiculous? Stole my partner. My partner dumped me, and then came and took the partner I had. It's ridiculous. But see, we all love each other.
I was going to say,
and
we're
we
the
support
family
one
that
another.
shares. I don't know if we want to be known as
No.
Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. But here's what I think is the best part. Now there is maybe a slight coup d'etat. I don't know. Because now everybody's like, oh, Jess, hey, you want to do some mixed doubles? Right, so.
You're a hot commodity now.
Well, especially I think with the HYROX rules changing,
Yes, I
it
think
really
that's
does.
part of it,
It
yes.
really does create an interesting environment.
It does.
Actually, anyone that's listening to the pod that is looking for a mixed doubles partner,
Oh,
I'm kidding.
she's taking applications, guys.
Yeah, I want to really evaluate what.
And that's
options-
smart.
You
That's
don't want to
smart.
do another women's doubles?
That'd be fun too. Actually, we've been talking about putting together a women's relay too.
Yes.
I
Oh,
think
yes.
that could be a
Yes.
lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really feel like we haven't really ever paid attention to the relays and some of the other things.
Yeah.
So I think and we're not, maybe smart's not the word. I don't want to say we're not smart, but like we're trying to like go out there and have fun and
Yeah.
build people up and everything else. We've got to get to a point, I feel like, where we go out there and we're like being more strategic.
Yes,
So that
yeah.
we can get like more podiums in particular events.
Yeah.
So that we can kind of establish like,
Dominance.
yes, I was going to say credentials, but I
Dominance.
really mean dominance.
Yeah.
HYROX domination.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
That's
And
what
then
we
really
want.
putting these teams together to assert dominance, right?
Yeah.
And just a little more strategic. That's all I'm saying, right? So,
Yeah.
grab a couple relay teams, grab a couple doubles teams,
Right.
put the singles in the right place, and really start thinking about, okay, how can we continue? We've got some flags. We have a few flags, but
Yeah.
it'd be nice to maybe triple those next year.
Yeah, I think
In
so.
1 year.
I would love to see you race on your own, though. I think you would just do, especially like with like another 8 months, if you do it in Dallas or what
Yeah.
you do in Houston in like a full year. Think you would do so well.
That'd be
and
fun,
I think you'd be
yeah.
really fun to watch.
Yeah. And I think, too, one of the things maybe you're learning, too, as well, is like that whole strength to weight ratio.
Yeah.
Like the sleds are heavy, yeah, but if you learn how to push the weight,
Yeah.
if you learn how to move your body and how to be efficient and everything else, it's all very manageable,
Right.
right? So it's not as daunting as it might have seemed in the beginning.
Yeah, and I think it becomes it's like anything else, right? Like even if when you start running and it's so hard, and like even coming back from pregnancies or things like that, it's so hard when you first start that it's really hard to have it be fun,
Yeah.
And I think that was a little bit the experience I had at first, where I'm like, oh my gosh, really? But then once you get you kind of get some of that momentum, you build some of that base level strength, and now it's like, well, this is fun. Now
Right.
I can I got to a point where I can keep building and it's enjoyable to do it.
Right.
So
Well, I think the best thing has been, and maybe you've even learned this, is and we've done this, and I don't even know if you've how close you've paid attention to it, but you had mentioned about running for the marathon or a half marathon, right? And then, okay, how am I going to add in HYROX without sacrificing what have you?
Yeah.
And now, I think hopefully what you've learned is the beauty of periodization,
Right.
Like how you focus your training for a specific period of time to
Yep.
develop a new skill set.
Right.
And when you develop that new skill set, it's not like you lose it, but that skill set can be applied to something else.
Yeah.
And so you switch over your focus to train for something else.
Yeah.
And so as you're doing that, we're adding in progressive overload. We're adding in, not just the aerobic stuff, but the threshold and the anaerobic. So you're training all these different things. And so it's almost like any weaknesses you had, you're almost like just refining them out.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so all you have are strengths left.
It's amazing how quickly it happens too. I think that's the other thing that's been kind of a key learning for me is you don't have to take a full year
No.
to do, the fact that we kind of used, we took a build that included a 10K to build to the half marathon in January and achieved a goal there. And then between January and March, really honed in, kept that base aerobic load, and then, kind of kept my miles per week, but then added in the strength, and the change that you can see in a couple of months of
crazy.
focused effort is incredible.
Yeah.
I've started to think, and even between HYROX and Boston, I told myself at one point, because I was down right after HYROX, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be in a different place entirely between now and Boston.
Yep.
And that's exciting, that just between those 4 weeks of building, you see those gains, you see little gains even in a short period of time.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what people miss is, yes, 3 months is a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
Okay. But 3 months is not that long.
No.
And a lot can happen in 3 months, especially when you're focused and, you're dialed in and you're consistent. I think that's the biggest thing, right? And so,
Yeah.
for you, that would be the thing I would definitely say is consistency, right? You're putting in the miles. She was so excited in her peak week. She was so excited. She's like, I did 60. How many miles did you do?
65 was my peak. Yeah.
And this is what's going to probably tick off most people is that I think when she did her 308 for Houston, what was your peak mileage?
I think my peak mileage there was 59, because
Yeah.
I remember thinking I should go one more mile and make
Yeah.
it 60.
Yeah. So, and then
Bring
the
it
one to
up.
319, it was
Less. I mean, it was
50 or
50 something.
right?
Yeah.
So, there's people out there that would, kill to be able to run that pace, running that kind of volume. So that just means you have a lot of potential still because, and obviously life and all that other
Yeah.
stuff may keep you from being able to do that at some point in time. But like, it's nice to know that volume is king. We know that. And you've got people out here running 245s and 250s and on the marathon.
Yeah.
But they're running 100 miles a week.
They're running. That's what I've been listening to a couple of podcasts preparing for Boston, and there's some of the gals that are running out there that are running 120 miles a week and stuff. And it seems incredible, but then also I think, it'd be a lot to double my mileage, but really, like, when we started breaking it into manageable chunks, it wouldn't be crazy to increase it. And I know, like, Larry and I have been talking about that too for Chicago. Like, what does that build look like? He and I are both going to run Chicago. So what is that? What mileage do we peak out at? He's got some serious goals.
He does. Yeah. He does.
I don't know that I'm going to be there, but I think it'd be interesting to try.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing more than anything else is when you do something, I don't want to say small, but when you do something that at one point you thought would be hard, then it builds your confidence and realize, you know what, that wasn't as hard or as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
That wasn't as daunting of a training block or a task, or the event wasn't like as impossible as I thought it was. And so it builds that confidence. And then you're like, well, maybe if I do this is what's going to come.
Yeah.
So I think you've proven that and you've shown that. And that's what you've been, especially I think these last 6 months has really done for you.
Yep, I think so too. I remember when I did in 2023, when I hit 319, I remember telling someone, I can't run 40 miles a week. I don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. And now I look at it, it's like this build, like that my average was 45 or whatever. And it's like, I made some changes, figured out how to mix it in. But yeah, it's been a game changer.
Well, now that you've like graduated to like higher mileage and you seem to really enjoy like the challenge of a higher mileage and higher volume, how are you feeling doing your taper week?
I am not a huge fan of the taper. I'm not going to lie. It's I believe in taper magic. I do. Like, it is a real thing. And I would never destroy my taper by making a foolish choice, even though I did last year, actually. So not never, but
I've learned.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I find it's very difficult to figure out what to do with that time. I know, like, people say, okay, we'll stretch and whatever. No. I love the structure of a training cycle.
Yeah.
I love it. I like to know what I'm doing when I get up. I feel like I'm wandering when I'm in a taper. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Does your family like when you're in a taper?
I don't know. I mean, I do get to sleep in a little bit more. Yeah. I'm sure Jay doesn't hate that, but I don't know. It's not my jam.
It's not your jam.
It builds all these anxieties that I feel like normally must get left out on the road somewhere, but like there's just this like churning, like, what is going on?
But here's the positive thing. What happens is like all of that kinetic energy is just
that's
being
what it is.
stored up, right? And then when the gun goes off, the filly can go.
But
right?
not out too hot.
Right.
Just, save it for the end.
Save it for the back half.
That's it. So, so what's next? So you got Boston coming up Monday.
Yep.
Okay.
Boston on Monday. Then I get to take a nice little break, which I'm sure will also be, I'll like that about as much as the taper. But I am going to try to really embrace that. Because then in the summer, planning to kind of build back up to some base mileage and enjoy some time up in Wisconsin. In some cooler temperatures, taking my runs around the lake. Like,
she's gonna be sending photos to us every time she runs.
Sending photos.
Sending pictures of her run in 75-degree weather.
I'll see you for 4th of July. Don't worry.
Yeah, sending some pictures back, and then the plan is to build for Chicago, starting in August, and get a solid build up to Chicago, and really like that. My goal is to get a PR in the marathon on that course. So
when is Chicago?
It is October 12th.
Okay.
Yep, October 12th, and then from there, HYROX Dallas. Maybe do some mixed doubles. My partner is up for it again. Maybe a relay and go from there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Have you? Are there any other majors you would like consider trying to go out for? other than Chicago and Boston? New York?
I think I would do New York. I've thought about doing New York. I think that the start situation there really like makes me nervous. Just getting to the start is a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces and, again, kind of like getting yourself going early for a start that's later in the morning.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be fun. I don't know that I'll chase the 6 stars, now 7 stars. Like, I just don't know that. I mean, maybe I will over the course of like a longer period of time. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not like setting that as a goal.
Right.
I think that there's a lot of things I want to do, and I think I enjoy the marathon distance, but I also really do like a half. I like that distance.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying the HYROX thing, so I will probably keep doing that for a bit too.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So
Suckered me in.
So if you were to say right
pressure
now,
really worked.
like if you had 3 things, just 3, that you were like, okay, these would be, maybe they're not necessary top of the list goals, but these are 3 things that I would really like, I would really like to do, say in the next, we'll say 18 months. Like 3 things that like, if you did these are like big accomplishments, things that you would be excited about and would be something you'd go after. What would those 3 things be? Just top of your head.
Okay, top of my head, I think a HYROX World Championship would be cool.
Yep.
That would be a good goal. I think I would love to see myself do a sub 3-hour marathon. Mm-hmm. I think it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what else. I think, the other thing that I think would be cool that I mentioned to you, I think that I have a lot of people in our group that are like, oh, you've got to be, you must be one of the elite runners. I'm not, okay? Like,
yeah.
I want to get that hat that says, not an elite. Like, but I could be if I worked for it. And, like, maybe it would be kind of cool to see if I could run one of the Houston races that would qualify me for local elite status. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about maybe, I think the 10 miler, I think the Space City 10 would be kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I like that distance. I really like, like a 15K or a 10 mile race, I think would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard as you get older, like losing some of that speed is something that I guess I worry about. So I think that's why the marathon is always there. But I think so in the near term to do something that's more speed focused, shorter distance is kind of neat too.
Well, I think as you build strength, you build confidence in the fact that you can go faster.
Yep.
Right. So I think that was one of the things that impressed me the most when we first, like I had heard about you through the run group. And they're like, oh, yeah, there's this girl who runs like a sub 130 half marathon. I was like, dang, this chick's fast. And then I think you came out to a Sunday track workout.
Yeah.
And you were running with someone else, and and I was like, "Oh, you should run with us." And you seemed like you were a little intimidated.
I was intimidated.
I didn't understand it. I was like, "You're faster than all of us. Why are you intimidated?" And then I think it was you kind of came not often.
Yeah,
not
I didn't come that often at first
because I think the workout part was not your cup of tea.
No, there were a couple. I remember the first couple of times some of the workouts. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll just do the run part.
I do feel like I remember you saying
opted
that.
out.
Yeah, I don't do burpees.
Yeah.
But then we had a time trial, a mile time trial, and so we were kind of all standing around talking about it. And I was like, all right, what are you going for? What's the number? And I think you said, oh, I'm gonna try to be right at 6 or like maybe just under or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, huh?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And you're like, well, I just said, I don't even remember all the reasons why you said that. And I was like, well, just run with me.
Yeah.
Just everybody just stay with me. Everybody that can stay, just stay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like as I was running and we were doing those laps, each one, like you guys were right there in step. It was nice and smooth. Nobody looked like they were dying. And I kept picking it up each lap.
Yeah.
And everything I did, you guys just were able to fall right in. And so I knew after that, when we did that, I was like, oh, yeah, she's got some speed.
It was a cool feeling. I think I remember the track workout where the first one where you're like, you can run with us. Mm-hmm. I was like, I could really? Like, I don't know if you know that, but okay. It's been nice. I mean, like, there is so many times that I think other people have more belief in you than you have in yourself. And I think that I've found that. I mean, just like when you guys were saying, you got to do HYROX. You do great at HYROX. Are you kidding me? Did you see how terribly I just did at that thing? I mean, even after that, when I thought I like crashed and burned, and you're like, oh no, you're gonna be fine. I'm like, really? Because did you see me? It was all I finished like dead last, you know. So yeah, there's been some times where I've definitely needed the group to be like, no, really, you can do this. And I think that was one of the times where, your belief, you believed in me more than I believed in myself, for sure.
Yeah.
So
well, I think when you have relationships and I think that's what real relationships are. Real relationships, that the right kinds, should make you better, right? They should challenge you for sure, right?
Yep.
But ultimately they should make you better. And I think sometimes, at least maybe in our culture today, I think sometimes when you're challenged, some people kind of shriek from that, right?
Yeah.
It's tough on them, and they take it the wrong way. I think maybe the intention isn't there, and everybody responds differently and everybody communicates differently. But like there are certain personalities that when you challenge them, like my wife, when I challenge her, she rises to the occasion. Like she punches you in the face, right? She's just like, "Don't you even think you can take me?" Right?
She's tough.
She's a tough chick, right? So. And I think the more time you spend around people that are either better than you or expect a lot out of you, I believe that it helps you come up and become better, and raises the standard. And I think ultimately that's the goal, right? The goal is to be better, a little bit better than you were yesterday.
Right.
Or know a little more, be a little stronger, or a little more confident, whatever it is, than you were yesterday.
Yep.
So I don't really know exactly. This is probably not the place to ask this for Boston. We're probably going to have our meeting just to nail that down. Because I hope
the race plan.
Yeah, I hope you're not going to go insane on me
What's
again
your
this
race
year.
plan?
But do you have a goal and number in mind for Boston?
Yes.
Okay, because and the reason I'm asking this is because it's being recorded. It's going to go on.
Oh, so you just
on the
want
airways. The entire world's going to hear this.
So we'll know.
You just want me to know
if you don't do it,
we all know.
Yeah, you would know.
We know it's not the plan. So do you have a goal in mind?
Yes.
What is
My
the goal?
is 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Last year was 3:27, so it would be a big course improvement.
Yes.
I think that if I run the race smart, that I can do that
Easily.
It is the course is challenging, but it is manageable. I mean, I've known people that they've PR'd on that course. They've done well on it. I think the weather looks like it might be in our favor, so that would be good. So I think there's a lot of things that I learned from last time that I can improve this time. So there's a lot of opportunity to do better.
Right.
So that's the plan. Yeah. So you can watch me try and.
Yeah. Don't forget to download the app, and we all track you.
Yes.
And then everyone's just going to be like making sure they post on Running with James.
Yes.
They're tracking Jessica.
Yeah, post. You can post your
Cheering
comments
Jess
like,
on.
"Oh no, she's going too fast. Slow down."
There have been multiple races and marathons that I've tracked you, and then I'm like, why is she so hot? She's going so fast.
Well, like the Houston one, that always
the
cracks
Houston
me
one.
up when you guys were watching Houston, and I saw you at mile 8. And you're like, wow,
really
you're
fast.
spicy. What did you say? Like a spicy.
Yeah,
you're a little spicy right now. And I'm like, yeah, but I feel good. I mean, and that was one where it's like, yeah, I cashed a check or, wrote the check that I could cash. That was okay. But I'm going to try not to give you guys a heart attack this time.
I mean, even if you're suffering, you never show that you're suffering. You're always smiling.
Yeah, I was suffering in Boston. I mean, I was doing
Like
the
not smiling,
last year. I was I was doing the whole negotiation with myself where I was like, if I finish this race, I promise I will never run another marathon again. Fast forward.
Yeah. There we go. Right.
Yeah.
Here we
go. The Jessica of last year definitely made a lot of commitments that I am backing out on, like the fact that I was never going to run another marathon or I would never return to Boston.
It is so fascinating, how. You do all this training, and a lot of the training is not comfortable. It hurts, right?
It hurts,
and you go into it, and then when you're done, you feel this sense of accomplishment. But nothing really hurts the way the race does. Yeah. The race always hurts way more. And when you do it, you're like, why am I? There's some point in the race. I don't care how great the race is going.
Right.
There is some point in the race where you're thinking to yourself, why am I doing this?
Yeah. definitely. And then I was thinking, like, I mean, as I got deeper into it, I was like looking at medical tents, and I'm like, I am not like the final commitment I made to myself. And this is where, you know, it's great to have a mantra. I would not recommend it being this one. But like towards the end, I was like, I will not stop at a medical tent until I cross that finish line.
Nice.
That is the medical tent I'm stopping at. And that is the one that I did. And it's a good thing. But yeah, no, it was, I was saying all sorts of things to myself just to try and will myself to go, but it was not a smiley time.
Yeah.
I think the last smile, my husband got a picture of me like at mile 13 or something, and I think that's the last smiling picture seen of me in that race. I don't buy the photo packages, by the way, like just in general.
Now, usually you have like an entourage of us out there to get the photos.
Yeah,
you don't need one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
for
get
sure.
much
Who
better
needs it
ones.
when you got us?
The race photos are not my.
So what about your HYROX race photos? Did you have good ones there?
I had like one. I didn't buy those either.
But did you look at them?
They're so good.
I looked at them.
Oh, and they weren't
I
good?
bet there are so many good ones, and you just were critical.
There's a lot of like the like the sucking air photos.
Well, I think sometimes
Like on the skier when you kept going, breathe, Jess, breathe.
she's just holding her breath the whole time. But no, I would tell her before, there's a little girl in my PE class, and like she gets this look of just sheer determination when she's gonna do things. And she's like, her face squinches down, and she even like kind of squeezes her lips together, and then she goes, but it's like nothing happens, right? It's just I don't know what cracks me up. She's so cute, and it's so awesome. But you get that same look of determination. I've seen it several times, but the difference is like people better get out the way because they're about to get ran over. It's about to go down. So I can just picture you as soon as you hit the top of that hill. And you've got that last 10K to go or whatever, that look of determination is going to come on. And then when you hit mile 3, that determination will turn into like this huge eye-closing smile.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
That's what I see.
Definitely.
I was a little inspired by you. Like a week or so ago, I decided I need to do my speed work.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jessica's always talking how she does her speed work on a treadmill. We're going to do it on a treadmill.
Whew.
I'm just going to say I am never leading by that. I'm never doing that again.
It was humbling. I mean, like I don't
know how you do it.
It was like the last 2 months of training.
Yeah.
My
rough.
speed work was on a treadmill.
Yeah.
And I will say 2 things about it. Number 1, the incline with the speed work is
I can do
humbling.
that.
Number 2, the thing that I possibly most importantly, the fact that my watch and the treadmill would not sync up properly.
That was the biggest issue.
So you're like, I am running my heart out right now. I am sweating. I am just like putting it all out there. And you look down, your watch is like 7:30. And I'm like, what? That is not true. I was supposed to be running like a 6:30.
Yeah.
Like, that's not right. You know.
No, that's what it was. I think they were having class, and I decided to like do it then because I had to teach another class after his. And I think I was like yelling at him from across the room, and I was like, "This feels really fast. I don't think I can keep this pace." And my watch and the machine would not.
No.
I could not get them on the right pace, and I seriously thought I was gonna go to the back and hit the wall. I was just dying. So I was like, I don't know how that girl does this. This is.
I mean,
awful.
I don't know what yours was, but I know some of hers were like, I wouldn't have done them.
Oh no, I would never.
She
do
had
treadmill
some.
running your
I gave her
paces.
some really hard workouts.
We're
like,
not in the same level.
Like
you
there
and
would be
me.
times you would send me the workouts, and I'm like, did I give that to her?
Yeah, like, really?
I was like, oh my god. I was
You're a
like,
mean
I was
person.
thinking to myself, I was like, she must be doing these wrong.
Well, there was the one that you gave me where I was doing it wrong.
Yes,
the
'cause
one
that happens sometimes.
Yeah, there was the one where it was
Like, are you
supposed to.
reading?
It was supposed to be like a quarter mile. All of it was at like tempo, so all of it was like 6:30 pace or something. It was
Yeah.
like a quarter mile on an incline, a quarter mile off the incline, and then there was supposed to be a break. Okay.
Yes, she didn't take the break.
I
don't
did not
think.
take the break. I just kept
Yeah.
going quarter mile on, quarter mile off for six
Yeah.
of them.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then we talked about, it was like 3 weeks I'd been doing this, and we were on a run, and I'm like, that Tuesday workout is just awful. Like, I'm finally getting it to where I'm getting like 5 of the 6 without having to take a break. And he's like, you're supposed to be taking a break after every one of them.
Because I've done this workout. I don't ever give anybody a workout I've never done before. And the way you were complaining about them, and I was like, yeah, this is a really hard workout, but man, it shouldn't be so hard that she's complaining about it.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I must really suck. And then we were talking, and she told me like she wasn't taking the breaks. Then I realized I really do she doesn't suck. I suck because she crushed this thing. So
Gosh.
Anytime you don't think you're doing well, you just like go hang out with Jessica, and you're gonna like really feel like, oh, I'm not adequate to be here.
This last one I knew was going to be challenging because you took time after our one-on-one where you're like, I'll get back to you on what the speed work's going to be like. I'm like, that sounds maniacal.
just pull something out of my
Hang on a
backside.
moment. I'm going to go spend some time on this one.
I do think about these things
Got
and
Luna
try
in
to
his
like
lap. He's like,
way off of our conversations what might be best, right? So that's awesome.
Yeah. And it was pretty tough.
Yeah, but you're faster, you're stronger.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how well you do in Boston, and it's always cool to see people go out and like conquer goals. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. So you're gonna do well. I'm
You're gonna do
excited for
really
that,
well.
and then you'll get to come back.
Yeah.
You'll get to run if you want to. You don't have to run if you don't want to.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll start figuring out what Chicago's going to look like. We'll start looking at what Dallas is going to look like. So here's a cool part. Now you've added all this new stuff.
Yeah.
New fitness, new strength. Now the baseline has changed.
Right.
So now is the interesting thing, because now, like, you're not starting where you were. You're starting from this whole new place of fitness, and then you still have more fitness that you can get.
Yeah.
Right. So this is going to be an interesting time, because it's almost like, I don't know, I think about it like this. Like when somebody is playing a sport for the first time and they go into it and they, like, at least for me, this is how it was. I started playing basketball my freshman year of basketball. I went in and I loved playing basketball, and I played it all the time, but I was not any good. And I got cut from my freshman team, and all my friends played basketball, so I got put on like the practice squad or what have you. Well, from that year to the next year was like I wasn't even the same person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I went from getting cut to starting the next year.
Yeah.
And so like my skill sets and my speed and everything else changed. I was like, it wasn't even recognizable. That's where I feel like this next year of racing, whatever this next season is going to be for you, is like you're not even going to recognize it anymore. I mean, you don't recognize this compared to when you did your first little HYROX style event, but even from here to then, like when you do your half marathon the next time, when you do Chicago, when you do the Dallas HYROX, right? I think that's going to be cool to see, because you're going to be like a whole nother athlete.
And it's fun because you do, like, I think that's the cool thing about fitness is you're always able to take on these new challenges. And I think that's what's so exciting, because it is like, I'm sure the next set of workouts too, there'll be some that I look at and I'm like, this is ridiculous, or I'm not hitting that pace. Like that's crazy. And then you go through the training block, and by the last one, you're getting it, and it's kind of this, I don't know, you get to see all these little like miniature growth curves kind of take place as you're going. So it's fun.
I think that's the best thing about the training.
It is the best thing.
That's the best thing.
And the group. I mean, honestly, like that's been the hardest part, I think, about this very short or long Boston training cycle has been like this segment where like you guys are all
doing
your own thing, getting ready for Atlanta. And I'm like, oh, but all my friends are over there. I'm over here.
Our long runs are like 8-10 miles, and you're like, I got to go do another 10.
Yeah, I'll see you guys later. I'll be starting early.
But the good thing is that that's all about to change.
That's right.
You have a couple more days, and then you'll be making us look bad again.
Yeah.
Right? And then you'll be making us look bad and training for Chicago, and you and Larry together will be running miles upon miles upon miles.
So many miles.
Yeah.
I don't know. Larry's about to take it to the next level.
He is. I'm really excited to see what Larry's going to do too. Like he's got a lot of potential, I feel like, as well.
Yeah.
He's already super
so
crazy fast and strong, right? We were doing our last we were doing our last like official HYROX workout Tuesday, and we were doing our wall balls, the like wall ball finisher or what have you, and I was behind him, and I'm like, dude, this dude is jacked. Like his shoulders and like his arms. I was like, this dude has like become a monster in a very short period of time.
Yes.
And I'm just standing behind him like, dude, someday I hope people are standing behind me someday and thinking that same thing, because all I could think of is like, I need to get this guy a better partner.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really excited about all of our athletes. I'm excited about all of our athletes, but it's cool to see, the people who are really like fully on, like committed for certain things, and see them grow and like see them fully buy in, right? So it's cool to have such an amazing group, and people love the community, and you can see them. Courtney's one of them. She's like definitely like she's like all in and like putting into these efforts, and so it's really cool to see her do that.
Yeah.
And so when you see those people put in the work, like I know for a fact you're going to see a result from that. And that's always awesome to see that like growth and that change. So that's the best thing.
And
about being a
everyone's like
coach.
there to celebrate each other.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's that's what it's all about. And it's everyone setting their own individual goals, and then as a group, we're kind of lifting everyone up. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So it's a fun thing to be a part of.
Speaking of which, are you signed up for the HYROX Strong that we're doing on May 24th?
So I would totally do that.
you're not gonna be here.
Unfortunately,
You're gonna
I'm going to be in Wisconsin.
Wow, you could have redeemed yourself.
I know, total redemption.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a great event, and I will be cheering for you all.
Nice. Well,
Bring back some cheese.
for those of you
yeah.
who are going to be here on May 24th, we're going to be doing a event here at the gym. It's called the HYROX Strong. Basically, it's all the movements, none of the running.
None of the
And
running.
apparently,
So all of you,
people are excited about that.
All you buff people out there who just like cringe at the running, this is your time to
Yep.
come out and shine.
And I would make the suggestion that you go ahead and sign up now
It's getting full
because
fast.
it's only been open for like less than a week, and we're more than halfway sold out.
Yeah.
So there's different tier pricing. So when this tier pricing ends, the next tier will come in. So I would make the suggestion to sign up. We might open some more spots, maybe, but I would not count on that. So
Don't sleep on it, people.
Space is a thing we
Yeah.
have to consider.
yeah. So I would definitely want to make sure that everybody that wants to be a part gets in there. So you can go to our website, BCFit, mybcfit.com. You can also go to the link tree. You can sign up on our app. There's all types of places to sign up. Just go to the Building Champions HYROX Strong event and sign up. So is there anything else I'm missing, Lauren? Anything we got
Make
going
sure
on?
y'all are following along on the Instagram. We now have the Running with James Instagram page at the Running with James. You'll find it. You'll see the nice little logo. And you keep up with all the things that are going down on YouTube, obviously on the podcast. With James and myself, I also throw on the Run Club, because if you want to actually get a real Running with James experience, you will join him and myself at the Run Club.
That's right.
That's where you get the real action.
We've actually, it's been pretty cool,
Unedited.
watching the run group grow as well. So you can sign up for that online as well. And it's free to come join. So if you want to join us either on Tuesdays at Memorial Park at 7 p.m. And also Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. off 249. And then we always have the track workout as well on Sundays at 5.
Oh, that was one thing I was going to tell you, not to get too off track. You missed a heck of a workout on Sunday.
I understand I did. That's what I hear.
It was.
The Sunday
I'm pretty sure
workouts
people would
are...
I'm pretty sure if there wasn't so much sweat, you would see tears. You just couldn't tell.
That's the best part, is when you can get the sweat and the tears mixing together and you're not really sure.
No, you just like,
Yeah.
you have to act tough.
She's probably one of the only people I know that people talk about how horrible the workout
love
was, and
it.
she's upset that she missed it.
I am. I'm
so
like,
bad.
when you tell me this was the most awful workout ever, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my
It
gosh, and I
was.
missed it.
It did crush me. Just so you know, if this makes you feel better as well, when we got to the kettlebell portion,
Yeah.
the last round of kettlebells, I think I put the kettlebells down like 3 or 4 times.
It does make me feel better.
Like I was hurting so bad.
It felt really heavy.
It did feel heavy,
It
and
felt so
I feel like I
heavy.
did it because we weren't at the track, because the
Yeah.
track was closed. We came to the gym to do it.
Yeah.
And like what I told them, we did a little bit different than what I told everybody else to do, and I think I might have like overestimated
it.
the length of which it was.
It felt really
so
long.
like it did feel really
It felt
hard,
really long.
and yeah, I had to put the 70s down. Like I put it down. We had to do
Yeah.
3 rounds each when we got to the last round, and I made it the first one, and on the way back I almost made it, and I had to drop it once, like I don't know, maybe 10 feet from the end, and then
Yeah.
when we had did it the last time, I just kept every 5 feet I was putting it down. I was like, I can't hold this thing.
Once you put it down once, it's
Yeah,
hard
it was
to.
like, it was over. Like my
yeah.
pinky, it was my pinky. I couldn't get my pinky to like grip onto it. I felt very defeated. All right, well, thank you so much, Jessica, for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It
This
was
was fun.
It was great. And I know you're going to do awesome in Boston, so go out there, wreck it.
I will.
Don't go crazy, at least till the end. Feel free to go
Rein in
nuts
a
at the
little
end.
bit and then release the Philly.
Just imagine Tommy or me in your ear saying, hey, he's
Yeah.
up,
Yeah,
up,
he's up. He's up.
he's up, right?
Yep.
And then at the
Too
end,
hot.
go for it,
I
right?
say if you're too hot, you just imagine me going, it's a little spicy.
Yeah.
It's a little spicy.
That's it. So
I always do. So,
So I know you're gonna do great. So we'll be watching you run and cheering you on and rah-rah-rahing you and everything.
I
So,
appreciate it.
Yes.
It's been fun, and
very
thanks for
excited.
having me. I will hope to do BC Fitness proud out there on the course. I'll be repping. So
Nice, no doubt, no doubt. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming in today. We really do appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you like, subscribe, share it. Sharing is a big deal. You don't realize how big it is. And if you'll do that, it will be a huge help for us. And if you have the ability to, you can also become a Patreon supporter simply by going to patreon.com/runningwithjames. Different tiers, you get extra stuff. It's a lot of fun, and it's extra Lauren. And who doesn't like a little extra Lauren, guys?
Wait, what am I extra on?
Never mind.
Wait, what? I looked down or something.
She's
for
not
2
paying
seconds.
attention.
2 seconds. I looked.
She was
down.
on her phone. Let's be honest. And the only reason I know that for a fact is because my phone just buzzed because she just responded to a text message. Is that correct?
You're sitting right there.
You see what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. Like, the professionalism is out of control. So, all right, guys, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jess, for
made it
being
so
here.
far.
Yeah, thank you.
And remember, when you change your mind,
You can change your life.
Oh, dang.
Oh!
I was not planned.